Welcome back. So, great writers share a lot in common with great teachers, which is why it's only fitting that the Minnesota Book Awards are happening tonight, smack dab in the middle of Teacher Appreciation Week. And don't you know, one of those talented local finalists also happens to be a teacher. Here's Kent.
Remember all the things that we talked about plot-wise?
If you want to know how a longtime Minnesota teacher
Make sure you've got a protagonist who wants something really badly.
became an acclaimed author just recently,
If you become an author when a book gets published, 4 years.
Nicole Kronzer says the story really begins
Next week,
with the perfect
full-on project 2.
setting.
And if anybody has ideas for what you'd like to do, working here has changed my life in so many ways. Okay, talk to me about point of view. I don't know who I would be without this place.
As a creative writing teacher at Champlain Park High School since 2006,
If you're thinking about it like it's different scenes,
she's helped some 4,000 students
I would worry less about that.
find their voice.
We do a lot of different activities that get our brain going. She just really helps take us, outside of the box.
It's supposed to be like you can't tell.
But for much of her life, she struggled to do the same for herself.
I somehow internalized that in order to be a professional writer, you had to be a man and live in New York City. And I was neither of those things. And so I thought, I didn't get to do that.
Several years and many trips to the library later, that changed.
The librarian at the time, Terry Evans, started bringing in all these authors. And she said, it's really important that kids see that authors are just people. And the side effect was I also saw that authors were just people, that they weren't magical unicorns. If Victor comes in,
And one of those authors helped her unlock her own magic.
I said, I think there's a young adult book inside me. She was like, you should write it.
That book, Unscripted, was published in 2020.
My first book is about this girl who has Saturday Night Live dreams, and she goes to this improv camp in the mountains of Colorado. She ends up being the only girl on the top team, and she finds herself in this emotionally abusive situation.
The story resonated. Unscripted was a finalist for the Minnesota Book Award in 2021,
This latest one,
and it gave her the confidence to scale back her teaching to focus on her next book, The Roof Over Our Heads.
one of the threads of that book that was influenced by my students is about this kid who thinks he has to be one kind of person in order to fit in with his family. But of course, he doesn't, right? He just has to be true to who he is.
By staying true to who she is,
There's just part of me that never stopped being 17.
Nicole is once again a finalist for the Minnesota Book Award.
How much does this place translate
into
your writing?
my writing. Yeah, so both of my books were definitely influenced by my students. You have to understand something in order to get it.
She sees
Did I not explain that part?
what we do and how we interact with each other and puts it in her novels.
And in the process,
Okay, I'm gonna get a chair now.
in this setting,
The playwright is the person that controls what you see.
she's also seen her own story come
I see like a figure.
full circle.
My dream is to also be like a published author. Yeah. Seeing her, like knowing that she can do both is really cool and like inspiring.
Now they're the ones saying you're inspiring them.
And those are italicized, right? Because they're like stage directions. I love teenagers so much. I think they are the best of us. Like the thing about being a teenager is that it is the only time in your life where you can see both your childhood and your adulthood from where you're standing. I can't wait. I'm very excited. Their centers are just full of so much hope. And then it makes me feel like I get to have that hope too. So you have less than 3 minutes to make your final changes.
Oh, teachers get me in the feelings. By the end of tonight, Nicole will find out if she has gone from a two-time finalist to a first-time Minnesota Book Award winner. We wish you the best of luck, Nicole, and to all the other finalists.